Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching Channels Television, celebrating 21 years of professional broadcasting. This is the news at 10, a reminder of our major stories tonight. Federal government to consolidate criminal charges against former National Security Advisor barely 24 hours after ECOWAS court orders his release. Code of Conduct Tribunal chairman turns down Dr. Bukola Saraki's application that he disqualify himself from hearing the Senate President's non-declaration of assets case. As Nigeria marks the World Teachers' Day, National Union of Teachers issues government a 2-week ultimatum to pay teachers outstanding entitlements or face strike. And more than 20 migrants suffocate in the hold of overloaded fishing boats on the Mediterranean. A reminder here that all our top stories can be found on our websites, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Log on to m.channelstv.com to view us live on a mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Besides the news and updates, the Channels TV app is an eyewitness feature. We encourage you to use it to share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app and type and swipe to reveal the eyewitness menu and follow the instructions. Let's get back to our discussion now with Mrs. Yinka Ogunde. You were sharing a story with me very quickly.
Yes, I was actually trying to tell you about a young girl that the parent immediately she said, I want to be a teacher. They just shout her down, how can you be a teacher? You cannot be a teacher. And that's because of the perception people hold about teachers. They believe it's a poorly remunerated profession with little or no prestige attached to it. But I think if we are able to address the issues of getting well-trained teachers and paying them well, then we will be doing our nation a lot of good.
Well, that was Mrs. Yinka Ogunde, the Chief Executive Officer of Edumat Consults, also initiator of Concerned Parents and Educators Network, Mrs. Yinka Ogunde. To some pictures you sent it to Eyewitness Portal. We'll begin with this one.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Speaking of which, those pictures we talked about much earlier, let's take a look at some of them that you sent into Eyewitness Portal. We begin with this one showing the impact of erosion on a portion of the Jeba Mokwa Road. Our Eyewitness reporter calls on the government to fix it. We see a picture there of young men sitting dangerously in the boot of this moving vehicle along the Gwagwalada Expressway in the Federal Capital Territory. Our Eyewitness reporter calls on relevant authorities to stop such acts. You'll see a broken electricity pole barely standing on Odiebo Street in the Ikorodu area of Lagos. The Eyewitness reporter wants concerned agencies to also fix that. This photo shows the aftermath of heavy rains in the Owode area in Ikorodu, Lagos. The Eyewitness reporter says some residents have been forced to flee their homes due to the flood. Similar to that is this photo sent in from Isheri North area of Lagos. It shows these people knee-deep in floodwaters. We also see other residents in the area in a canoe trying to make their way home.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Our next story is in relation to that report and the eyewitness photos we just showed you, the Ogun River. Our communities on the banks already counting losses at the river once again burst its banks. Some of the residents of the Isheri North GRA are already relocating for fear of being submerged. An unconfirmed source says the flood, which is causing havoc, may have been caused by the opening of the Ogun Oshun Dam.
As you can see, the plight which I am going through, my family have been displaced. You can see my baggages in the car because look at where there's the situation is deteriorating day by day. the level of water is increasing day by day. So the fear now is that by tomorrow, because it was not this bad yesterday, so by tomorrow we are not sure, and I'm sure my vehicle, none of us will be able to have access to this place. So we have to relocate today, and because the safety of our lives and property is a minor thing, but our lives is more. So we are living because we feel threatened. So we're now asking government, both the federal government and the state government, Lagos state government, to come in and look at the situation of things here and come up with a solution. Because I understand it has been going on for years before we move into this estate.
We haven't seen any emergency, because if this is not an emergency, what is? Because the water, as you can see, is over like 4 or 5 feet deep. Those kids are not going to school anymore because the buses are not able to come in to pick them to school. And we're just calling on the government to come to our rescue before it gets worse than this.
I take it to Abuja now, where Ibrahim Adra is standing by with more on the news at 10. Hi, Ibrahim.
Hello, Marachi. Nice to see you. Now we kick off from the National Assembly, where the Senate has thrown out a bill seeking for the provision of special grants to Lagos State. Now, the bill, sponsored by Oluremi Tinubu of the All Progressive Congress, was rejected after failing a voice vote called by the Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu. Our correspondent Linda Higbe reports.
Was a bill which was likely to ruffle some feathers. A bill seeking special economic assistance to Lagos State. The sponsor of the bill, Senator Remi Tinubu, presents to lead debate on the bill.
The bill aims to remedy the many problems faced by residents and visitors in Lagos by empowering the federal government to make provision for economic assistance through grants as provided for under Section 164, subsection 1 of the Constitution of 1999 as amended.
The floor is thrown open and the debate begins with some lawmakers supporting the bill.
What does this bill ask for? It is asking for 1% of the federal government's allocation. Just 1%. And this minimum of 1% is just to assist in the building of new roads, bridges, railways, and other public infrastructure.
The situation became a bit tricky, as some lawmakers neither supported nor rejected the bill outrightly.
If 86.2% of companies' income tax is generated from Lagos, it means Lagos State is very solvent. And if we go and approve bills like this, there are very despondent states, like Enugu State, Zamfara State, all these states with historical antecedents like the Zungeru and all the rest. They will be asking for special assistance from federal government.
Trouble began when Senator Adeyeye rose up to make his contribution. Some lawmakers were not amused by his utterances.
If it's 13% to Delta and to Bayelsa and to Rivers for oil, let it also be 13% to Lagos for the VAT there. Until we have fiscal federalism, the FCT will not work. By the way, the FCT is a rotten, pampered child. Yes, I said so. How come? I withdraw that. I withdraw that. I withdraw that. Please, Chief, we have to withdraw that.
The Deputy Senate President puts forward the question.
Those support that this bill be read second time say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it.
And just like that, the bill was thrown out.
Please settle down.
The bill may be reintroduced another day, but for now, these lawmakers have made their voices loud and clear that they are not in support of any special grants for Lagos. Linda Kibe, Channels Television News.
The nation's prisons need 3.5 billion naira to procure 320 made-in-Nigeria vehicles to implement its prison decongestion initiative. And that's according to the Minister of Interior, Abdulrahman Dambazo. He made this known in a memo presented to the Federal Executive Council. The minister says the procurement of these vehicles is part of requirements to strengthen the criminal justice system. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has fixed November the 25th for judgment in the fundamental human rights suit filed by the leader of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, Mr. Ibrahim El-Zakzaky. A lawyer to El-Zakzaky is challenging his arrest and continued detention by the Department of State Service. At the resumed hearing of the suit, El-Zakzaky's counsel told the court that his client has been held against his wish. He further said that his client was not at the scene of the clash between members of the Islamic movement and the Nigerian army on December the 12th, 2015. After listening to arguments from both counsels, Justice Gabriel Kolawole advised them to explore the option of resolving the issue through alternative sources. And now to Rivers State, where the government there